Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Ryan. Thank you for joining me. It's very nice to meet you. Happy to introduce myself to you all. I'm not going to go too much into what I want the channel to be. That'd be more like a channel trailer thing, which I don't have at this time. We're going to go right into the meat of this particular video, and that is going to be this particular one. For the very first one, we're going to do a haul. We're going to do a Dollar Tree haul, actually. There's a number of Dollar Trees in my area that whenever we do have to go out for essential purchases during this time, or to look for some essential purchases, it's always good to take the proper precautions, obviously, and go out there, keep your distance, try to see what you can find. And this is we're gonna have 4 different trips of the span of about a week, and pretty much all of these are blind buys to the point where I've never heard of them, or I have at least heard of them, but they are all blind buys, with the exception of one I've never seen, and when I bought it, I hadn't seen it. I actually just put it on yesterday. And as you can tell by a lot of the leaning cases and a lot of empty spaces, there's a lot, because I'm a monster. So when I get something, I take it out of the package and then I open it up and then I shelve it immediately. Some people like to either keep stacks or they do the factory sealed in there. It may change at one point, but I'm a terrible person and I like opening things. So we're gonna start right in. The very first one that I got, I've never heard of it. I only know a couple of the cast members anyways. That's kind of what I like about these Dollar Tree buys. And that is Mr. Nice. I know it does have Crispin Glover in it and Chloe Sevigny, I believe is how you pronounce her name. It's a biopic. We're talking like 70s and 80s. It says a notorious hashish dealer. So it looks like, from what I can tell, based on this, we're looking at a like a bit of a possibly sting operation, bit of undercover work. Doubt it's more actiony. Probably looking more into like a dramatic portrayal, but so it could be good, could be bad. We have no idea, and that's what I enjoy. So obviously I haven't seen any of these, so I don't really have anything to tell you. That'll be for later on when I do watch the videos, and we'll talk about them. When I watch the movie, we'll talk about them then. For now, Mr. Nice, happy to own that one. The next one, this is one, sorry, you can hear my wife's bird in the background. There's only so much that I can do. She can be loud. Next one, I have seen this cover. I'm not at Dollar Tree, or not really seen anybody pick it up, but I'm familiar with it. Have never actually seen it. It's a Shout Factory release, and it is Wu Kai, I'm not sure, the Demon Slayer. It's 2009 Korean film, big fantasy action sort of thing. From what I can tell, it looks like it's gonna be a lot of just great, wild, bonkers, over the top type of stuff, which is what I love. What I do know about this though is that the fight scenes should be top notch, because it is choreographed by the same individual who did the action sequences for The Good, the Bad, and the Weird, which is a fantastic movie. I absolutely love The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. I had caught it on sale for Hamilton book, this was months ago, probably about $4.95, and I was gonna buy it, and I was trying to get more, but that was the only thing I actually wanted at the time, which is strange when you're talking about Hamilton book. But I loaded it up, paid for it, and then I think maybe probably about a week later, because I think I saw an email and thought it was just a shipping notification, didn't think much of it, opened it up finally, and it was out of stock. So the hunt continues, but for now I am happy to check this one out. Happy to dive into this and talk more about it later. The next one is, I have seen it show up in a couple of other people's Dollar Tree purchases, and I've known about this movie for a long time, have never seen it, so for $1, it's the best time to check it out, and that would be Wet Hot American Summer. I know the cast very well. We've got Paul Rudd, we've got Molly Shannon, Amy Poehler, David Hyde Pierce. David Hyde Pierce is in this, as well as Elizabeth Banks and Michael Showalter. It's been a modern classic comedy. I don't have much to say because I've never seen it, but I am very, very, very excited to check this one out as well. So, Wet Hot American Summer for $1. And the next title that I was able to grab was interesting because it came with a slip. I really don't care about slips. I could honestly really care less, but it's kind of cool when you find them for $1. and that would be Snow Girl and the Dark Crystal. So obviously the cover was the first thing that really sort of caught my eye, but this is put out by Well Go USA. Well Go USA is really good at putting out these, again, very bonkers, over-the-top action movies. And that's kind of guaranteed with this when you look at a cover like this and you're seeing things like a fabled warrior having to fight the forces of heaven and hell. So you know you're gonna get something that's very enjoyable, very fun. Because even if I don't necessarily like love a Well Go USA release, I'm always going to have a really good time watching them, and they're gonna be very fun and very enjoyable. So I'm very, very excited to check this one out. Hopefully it lives up to the craziness that I hope it has in store. And the next one is a double feature of 1965, 1964 films respectively, put out by one of my all-time favorite companies and a lot of y'all's favorite companies as well, Mill Creek. And this is a double feature of Ship of Fools and Lilith. From what I can tell, they seem to be kind of very polar opposite films. So sort of an odd combination of films. I don't even see off the top any sort of comparison between cast or even filmmaker, but Ship of Fools appears to be more of a dramatic period piece, set of differences of high class and lower class aboard a German ocean liner, whereas Lilith seems to be more of a love story in more of a psychological thriller kind of twist, where a man who falls in love with a schizophrenic woman can no longer tell the difference between her world and his own as he becomes more entangled in her. So these, especially Lilith, is really the main reason that I grabbed it. But of course, I'm going to check them both out. And I'm very excited. Lilith seems to be like an absolute fantastic film. Hopefully it's a really good time. But for now, it's the one that I picked up. We shall discuss it at a later date. This one, from one of the previous ones, I actually picked up the sequel to this one, and I haven't seen them. I had picked up the sequel, and now I have the first one, which was pretty cool, and that is Piranha. This is the 2006, 8, 10? It's one. If I keep going up, eventually I'll hit it. 2010. 2010 remake of the 1976, 78 horror comedy Piranha. I know it's like more like a loose remake, loose adaptation, if you will. And then I know with this one, we're looking at just tons of blood, nudity, over-the-top gore and violence, very cheesy, and that's exactly what I want. So very happy to check this one out because now I can check out the sequel. Because if I'm gonna pick up a sequel for $1, I'm gonna do it because there's a good chance I might be able to find the first one for a really cheap price, which is the case of something that I picked up in here. So Piranha. This next one is one that I had seen in previous hauls from previous sales, I should say, but I never saw it on my own, and that would be Real Live. So we got a bit of a sci-fi thriller here. I know that Sci-Fi, the channel, company I should say, has a hand in this. I don't know if it's so much the production or the distribution. I would imagine distribution. And it's only a few years old, 2017, from what I can see here. There's nobody notable on the cast. Sorry, camera's jiggling a little bit. There's nobody noticeable or notable to talk about on the cast. I haven't really heard of anything about this, and that's kind of the good thing, the blindness, the full blindness. No real pun intended with the fact that he can't see. But so that'll be one that I'm excited to get into, even though it looks like it may not be fantastic, but it doesn't have to be. So Real Live, happy to have that one. Sorry, had to push the cat off. The next one, we'll go into these really quickly. Why not? We'll go into these. I picked up a bunch of, not all of them are BBC, but we'll just kind of say more like Planet Earth style videos. There are some Planet Earth in here as well. We'll just kind of go through them real quick. This one, Planet Ocean, I had seen a bunch of people picking this one up. This is one I actually watched yesterday with the wife. It's a beautiful documentary. There's some really stunning, amazing footage, especially when they go into the lowest levels in the abyss. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cinematography and a lot of fantastic images. This one, I'd obviously never heard of this one before. It's 2012. It was partnered with Omega. Omega I'm very familiar with their conservation work from a retail partnership standpoint. So I knew that this was going to have a bit of, like, it wasn't going to be like this, like a Planet Earth style thing. It was going to be more of a documentary about ocean life and our effect on it. And it does obviously to that point. It's not like a quick 180. It actually builds towards that. And regardless, I mean, it's not like a political joint or anything like that. It's exactly what's happening and what's going on right now. Unfortunately, for a documentary that was made 8 years ago, all of the things still stand. There really hasn't been a lot of mass change that's happened. But it is an amazing, amazing documentary. I had a really good time watching this. If you see this, I would definitely recommend picking it up and checking it out. Planet Ocean. I grabbed Great White Shark on Blu-ray. This one is a BBC Earth title, and it is sharks. That is basically the only reason that I got it. Plus Blu-ray, so that's really cool. So I got that one. I got these two Planet Earths on DVD, Volume 3 and Volume 4. It looks like 3 is covering Great Plains, jungles, and shallow seas, whereas 4 is covering seasonal forests and the ocean deep. Obviously, would it be better to have these in high def? Of course it would, but I don't have Planet Earth at all. And for $1, why not? Most of what I'm familiar with anyways, too, is Planet Earth 2. And that would be one, I mean, you can find the complete Planet Earth 2 on Blu-ray, excuse me, maybe even 4K, for really good prices. So that would be something that I would just kind of pick up as I'm walking down an aisle at some point, or maybe just adding to a cart to add on to something else. But to have sort of these, I know you can get the complete series of Planet Earth as well, so happy to have these. And there's 2 other BBC titles in here. We have the Blue Planet, Seas of Life on DVD. Let's say 2001, Ocean World and Frozen Seas. Looks like 2 different specials. So always happy to have this. And this one, I had saw it a couple other ones and I never picked it up before, but it's Ice Age Giants, Woolly Mammoths. Anything to learn more. I love these type of stuff. I love these. I like Nat Geo and stuff like this, but the BBC Earth, those titles are where it's at. And these last one is BBC, one is PBS, but they are very similar. One is Earth, the biography, and Earth, A New Wild, both on DVD. This one seems to be more of a closer to Planet Earth, whereas this one seems, from what I can understand, more so about the history of Earth. So I mean, both going to be more nature oriented, where we're going into volcanoes, glaciers, jungles, that sort of thing. Whereas this one really seems to cover a whole territory. Yeah, we have home, plains, forests, oceans, and water. So a whole wide scope. So very, very happy to own both of these and check them out respectively. All right, so we'll go into a little bit of the TV that I picked up. Found some TV titles. The first one is the BBC show Intruders. Now, this is more of a paranormal thriller. It's not that old, even. It's 2014, 2014. At least probably when it came out by BBC America. Because I remember checking this one out mainly because the lead actor is John Sim, better known as the first incarnation of the Master in the new Doctor Who series. So that's where I really wanted to check it out for. So what we got here is like a paranormal thriller, like a secret society that is chasing immortality by putting themselves in the bodies of young children. Sort of almost kind of like, well, I don't want to spoil that movie for you if you haven't seen it, so I'm not going to mention what I was going to say. So this is the first season. 2-disc set. Very, very, very happy to own this one. I love these first seasons. I love first seasons because usually you can pick up the other ones if you enjoy it for a good price. So it's always good to check them out for cheap. This one, I had never seen anything like this before. This is Stargate Atlantis Fans Choice. I've seen a lot of Stargate Atlantis, but not nearly as much as there is. And what's kind of cool about this, I like that it's fan choice, it's the fan favorite episodes, and it's the pilot and the series finale. But what's great, Rising is the pilot and Enemy at the Gate. And that's the extended version of Enemy at the Gate. are the 2 episodes that are featured in here. And what's kind of fantastic is because I've always wanted to go back and rewatch Stargate. Obviously, if you were to find it for a good price at a thrift store, once things kind of level out and get back to some semblance of normalcy, then it'd be kind of a no-brainer to pick it up. But maybe to spend a little bit more money on it, I would definitely want to know that maybe it holds the same appeal to me that it did when I was first watching it on Sci-Fi. And so to basically, because I'm not going to watch the series finale again, if I get caught up with the show, to have the extended version is fantastic, but to have the pilot on Blu-ray for $1, absolutely, to get back into the series, to really sort of see if it's worth me diving back into it. So very happy to have that. These 2 are some DC ones that I found. Bit of an odd selection with these. We have Batman, the Brave and the Bold. This is weird. This is only 4 episodes. It's like volume 1. You can find the first season of this show. It's a Cartoon Network release. You can find the first season of this show probably like $20 on Blu-ray. But for $1 to give me 4 episodes, and if I really dig the 4 episodes that are on there, then I will gladly purchase the first season on Blu-ray. So that's kind of, again, what I like about these Dollar Tree hauls. So I can sort of see if I really dig the first 4 episodes. And I know with this one, we've got Aquaman, we have Plastic Man, we have the Blue Beetle, and Red Tornado in there as well. Well then, of course, obviously, yes, Batman as well. But we've got Aquaman there sporting a really nice beard. So that's Batman, Brave and the Bold. And then also we've got this supervillain compilation, our greatest hits, I guess you could say. It's a 2-disc set of 13 episodes. A lot of these are like 2-parters too, of some of the more famous supervillains in the Superman universe. So we've got Lex Luthor, Darkseid, Brainiac. Actually, those are the ones that are witnessed or that are featured on here. So hopefully there's more. But again, this is something I don't own any of the series on DVD as well. I have a couple of the animated movies, but none of the series. So great way to dip your toes into it. And then this one, I've seen some of the show, not nearly enough as I should, but this is a small collection from, I think, the 4th season, but it's everything from the return of Darth Maul in Star Wars The Clone Wars. So this is a 4-episode collection from season 4 that puts together the arc that was created with the return of Darth Maul. And obviously, we can go into later about my thoughts on episode 1. Spoiler, I don't hate it as much as everybody else does. Him being a big reason, but there's a lot to it. Maybe one day, but not today. So I'm very excited to kind of check this into. So it's another way to dip my toes back into Clone Wars, and because I really need to get back more into it. I watched some of it. I remember back in Cartoon Network, does anybody else remember? It was like, I'm telling you, it was like these little 10 or 11 minute episodes that they would just show. It was very, very short, and then eventually ended up getting a more regularly formatted release. But again, regardless, excited to have this. Yeah, we'll go into this. We're already getting kind of a lot longer than I wanted to, so we're gonna go rapid fire with these. This is one that it's a magnet release, kind of again with We'll Go USA. If it's a magnet title, especially if I find it for $1, I'm gonna grab it because it'll probably be fun. This is Rites of Passage. Looks like possibly like a horror element to it. It's what it appears. I know it's funny. I got it mostly because of Wes Bentley, but not because I find Wes Bentley to be a good actor. Obviously, Magnet was a big pull. I mean, Wes Bentley usually has the screen presence of a wet paper bag, but this one, especially, I mean, we've got ancient burial sites and Wes Bentley, so could at least be enjoyable. I mean, it's Magnet, so of course. This one is another Scream Factory release. Looks like a wilderness horror sort of thing with a backcountry with like a big old grizzly bear. It's always great when you can find Shout and Scream Factory releases for $1. So this is very, very excited to have this a heart-stopping full tilt run through deadly territory. So should be a lot of fun. And then this one, let's say more of a comedic drama. Or maybe comedic, I don't know. I would appear, it at least seems to. That's Better Living Through Chemistry. I've seen a lot of these people pick these up. You've seen this one before, I'm sure, if you've gone to your Dollar Trees. There's three reasons actually I picked this one up. That would be Sam Rockwell, Ray Liotta, and Jane Fonda. So happy to see this. We'll discuss all of these at some point. And we're winding down to the bottom, finally. This one was cool. I had never seen this one before. It's a more recent one, but it's Dario Argento's Dracula. It doesn't have a lot of good reviews from what I've seen, but I don't care. For $1, I mean, you always need more Dracula in your life. I haven't seen all the incarnations of Dracula. I haven't even seen all the Hammer variants of Dracula, so especially one by Argento, of course I'm going to check it out, especially when you got Rutger Hauer playing Van Helsing. Rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. So very, very happy to sign this one. When I look at this though and I see 110 minutes, I'm like, seems like a little long for something like this, but I could be wrong. I know originally this was slated, I believe, to be in 3D, so the only thing I'm hopeful that we don't have is a lot of those clearly made for 3D shots, like that sort of thing, where it's really close. Hopefully not too much of that, but very excited to check this one out. Again, we're gonna try to run through these. The prequel to The Exorcist, The Beginning. I haven't seen this, I'm very familiar with The Exorcist. I've read The Exorcist, I've seen the movie multiple times, but I've never seen the prequel, and it's been out for a hot minute. It's probably about 15 years old now. And I believe that the original author is William Peter Blatty. I believe that he had at least some hand in this, although I could be talking out of my butt. I really, really can't, and of course now I can't see it, so of course I've made a fool out of myself. That's okay. But it's always fun to see what sort of new life can be breathed into it by going back. Which is I'm always going to take a prequel over a remake, because then at least they're attempting to sully the spirit and not the actual original. This was a Universal double feature of Werewolf of London and She-Wolf of London. Very, very, very happy to grab these. Werewolf of London is a 1935 Universal monster flick. She-Wolf is about 11 years later, 1946. So super, super to check these out. And I was very happy too. It's not a flip disc. I guess I should have possibly known this because it doesn't look like the old flip disc. Those are usually the, I believe was it the Midnight movies? The Midnight movies up there, I think, were the flip discs. But usually if I see anything with an older double feature, I'm worried it's gonna be a flip disc. Nothing against them. I mean, obviously, it's probably better quality if you were to look at something like that with having a flip, but I could be wrong. But it was just, you're kind of just afraid to touch it anywhere. I digress. Let's go. We are, all right, yes, we're almost at the end. This is I Lived. The main thing I got was, I haven't looked too much into it, but it says from the director of Maniac, and I'm assuming that to be the remake with Elijah Wood. I actually really like that movie. And I believe it to be the same one because we're looking at a slasher, must be like a slasher horror type movie. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, I'm 100% wrong, but it does look to me a very sinister horror flick, or thriller possibly is what it looks like. But I'm really going to be under the assumption that it is the Maniac that I'm thinking about, because that particular movie was very interesting, gimmicky as well, but it's cool. It's all first person for the most part, and literally looking through Elijah Wood's eyes. And this one has an app that you can use while you're watching the movie. So I'm excited to check it. Of course I'm going to use that while I'm watching the movie if it still works. I would imagine it does. I'm hopeful that it actually will just be an additive, not so much like how I feel with the interactive movies, where you like, I would rather just give me what you find is the best choice, just so I can watch it. That's why I've never watched Bandersnatch, because I can't just put it on my TV, and I'm hardly on Netflix anyways, but I don't want to really play the game, I just want to watch it. I know they're doing an interactive movie of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, but they are going to have an option, from what I understand, where you can just watch the best, sort of like the best ending when there's multiple endings to video games. You can just kind of watch that through. But hopefully with this one, I think it's really cool. If it's a gimmick, I'm fine with it, but as long as if I'm not using it, then I'm not going to enjoy the movie as much. Hopefully we're not into that territory. Hopefully it's just, if you have it, cool. If you don't, you don't. So this is one when I was talking about picking up sequels for $1 because I can probably find the first one for a good price. Laid to Rest 2, Chrome Skull. It's that cover. The cover is the main thing. We've got a metal masked killer. Apparently there is somebody, there is an assistant to apparently the original maniac from the first film is relying on, but then apparently he starts doing better than he is, and he can't let his good name go to waste, so he takes to the streets once more, from what I'm understanding. And I have looked around. I can find the first one for a good price. If I don't find it in the wild, one day I'll probably pick it up, and then can watch them together. But for $1, and it was just the cover. Last three, we'll go through these really, really quickly so I can get you guys out of here. The Bates Haunting. Mainly, I mean, anything derivative of Bates Motel, something like Psycho oriented. Obviously, we're in that world, but it's where the Bates Motel haunted hayride. I don't know if it's actually supposed to be where the hotel itself has been transformed into that, but I mean, so we've got a spooky film, in a equally spooky place. So this one was pretty cool. Obviously, I've never heard about this one, but it's a Phase 4 film production. Phase 4 films, they do put out the B movie or the cheesier horror movies. Definitely not all of them are even enjoyable to watch. There are some that are put out under Phase 4 that I have a hard time getting through. I'm not gonna turn off a movie though, but definitely harder to watch. But this is one, hopefully will not be the case. This one I've seen in a couple other Dollar Trees in sales in the past, and that is 4321. I got it. Honestly, there's two. I'd seen it. Looks like a high octane action film, and it's got Emma Roberts in it. So that was a big reason to pick it up as well, and because I do not know this guy's name, I'm so sorry, but it's Mickey from the first couple series of the new Doctor Who, Eccleston and Tennant's era. So Mickey, I wish I could remember his name, and there's nothing, I'm looking at it and I should have done, why do you do this to yourself, Ryan? But the last one is another Shout Factor release. Never seen it, never heard of it before. It is an anime film in this corner of the world. So we've got a very heartfelt drama set during World War II. Apparently it's adapted from a manga of the same name. And this is, what year are we looking at here, Shout Factory? Help me out, help me out, help me out. 2017, that's pretty recent. It's always crazy when you see things in the last 3 years, 3-4 years at a Dollar Tree for $1. So, but I'm very happy to check this one out. So, thank you guys. That's everything that I got. That's everything that I got from this run. Now I can go back to putting everything back where it belongs. So the next videos, I mean, obviously I want to talk about the things that, it'll be a while probably before I talk about any of these, because there's a lot of other stuff that I still haven't watched, haven't seen. I want to try to do them in like triple runs, like a triple feature, hence the name. So that'll be fun. We'll do hauls. Hauls are always fun. It's good to see what you picked up, but we're not going to talk in depth about them. It's more like this is what I got. Did you see it? Hopefully, if you did, maybe pick it up. And when I talk about it, we can talk about it together. So I'm very excited to delve into all of that. If there's anything that you saw in here, please leave a comment telling me if it's good, if it's bad, if you never saw it, or just if you just want to say hi. I'll wave. I'll say hi back. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.